In this part, let's go and style our website. We'll start from the first page, the home section, and give it a style to make it look like this here. Let's just start from this part and one by one style them. First, this picture here. You can see that it has a distance from the top equal to 281 pixels. So our info, all of it, has a distance of 281 pixels from the top. We'll go here inside home and say that our info, which is this part, exactly this part you see here is our info. And all the information on the left side is inside it. In this way, what you see here. All of it is the info. We say that our info has a padding top of 281 pixels. See, it will get a distance from the top equal to 281 pixels. Now, what is the distance between these two? If I select this, see, its distance to this one is 24 pixels. As is shown here, the distance is 24 pixels. So, I'll say that in our info, this part, we can also give a class to this picture here, class person circle. And then what should happen to this picture with a class of person circle? It should have a margin bottom of 24 pixels. As you can see, it gets a distance of 24 pixels from this on the bottom side. If I inspect the elements, yes, it has a 24 pixel distance on the bottom side. The next thing is this, I'm Mushtaba. What is this? It's an H1 tag. Our H1 tags all have a 48 pixel size. See, if you look carefully at this part, our H1 is again 48 pixels, and also here we have another H1 tag, and it too is 48 pixels. Therefore, we can say that our H1 tag is 48 pixels and it has a font weight of 700. So we'll go to our typography. In this part, we'll add a new rule, a new style. We say that the font size of our H1 tag is 48 pixels. That is what we have here. It is 48 pixels and its font weight is 700. So font weight 700, as you can see here. Now, if you go back and take a look at the result, it is now 48 pixels and 700. This will be the same everywhere, okay? Do you see this part? This part has a gray color, which means its color is this B6, B7, BA. That means what color? It is our gray color. So we say that inside our H1, there is a span and its color is gray. Kindly note that we have changed the color of this. It is now gray. That is the span, and this part has a white color by default. Now we'll give it a margin bottom. Its distance on the bottom side is also 24 pixels. As can be seen, the distance is 24 pixels. So we say that the distance of the H1 on the bottom side is 24 pixels. It gets a distance of 24 pixels. All right, the next part is this, and its color is gray. It is an H2 tag. See here, H2, and its size is 24 pixels. If I look at other H2 tags, there is an H2 tag here. See, its size is 24 pixels. This one is also an H2 tag, and its size is 24 pixels, and its font weight is 700 everywhere. Therefore, for H2 tags, we add another rule here inside typography. This is public. We say that for H2 tags, font size is 24 pixels and weight is 700. As you can see now, its font size is 24 pixels here, and its font weight is 700 pixels. However, its color is different here. Its color here, I mean this part, is not the same as the other ones. For example, it is white here. We have set its default color to white, so we only need to change it for this part. We say that inside the home section, our work with the H1 is done, but what color should our H2 be? its color is gray, like this. As can be seen, its color changed to gray. Now, what is its distance on the bottom side? It's 16 pixels, so we say margin bottom 16 pixels. Look, it has gotten farther on the bottom side. Between this and this is a distance of 16 pixels. This margin that you can see here. Now, pay attention to this part. Its width is 432 pixels. Therefore, we can say that its max width is 432 pixels. We'll go down here. In this part, there is a p tag. Our p tag is here. See, we have already styled these ones, this one and this one. Now, for our p tag, we can give it a max width of 430 pixels, like this. And here you can see that it has become more compact. That is, the text is now more compact. Now, what is its distance on the bottom side? Its distance on the bottom side is 74 pixels. We can give it a margin bottom of 74 pixels. Here it will get a distance of 74 pixels, as you can see here. Now let's turn to this button. Please note that this button is repeated. It has also been repeated here. This one. Look carefully, it's exactly the same. That is, if I go here, see, it's the same. However, there is another button next to it. This button, in total, there are two buttons. One of them is here and the other one is this, which has also been repeated. Where? Here. It has been repeated here as well. So we have two buttons. One of them is blue, so we'll name it blue, and the other one is dark. Let's create a new file for them here called buttons.scss. We have a new file for our buttons and we import it inside main. Here we can import it here. Here should be good enough. Buttons like this. Now we introduce two buttons. What is the first one? We define its name as a class called btn custom blue. The btn that we have here is this button of ours, and we'll give it this class. We say btn custom blue. However, the class that we gave it is public. We didn't define it in our home section. It is not inside our home, and we can use it everywhere. Why? Because we also have it here in the about section and in the contact section. So we define this class as public, like h1 and h2, which we defined as public. What should we do next? We'll style it one step at a time. We want to make this look like this. What should we do? What we should do is, firstly, it has a background, which is 26FF48. We don't have this color in our color section here. We don't have it. There is no color like this in our palette, so we have to write its code. I'll copy and paste it here. Its background will be this value. After that, see, its text has a padding on the top and bottom. It is 10 pixels, and on the left and right, it is 52 pixels. So we say on the top and bottom, 10 pixels. And on the left and right, it is 52 pixels, like this. Let's take a look. It now looks like this. Also, we need to remove its underline because it is for the A tag. So we say text decoration, none. See, the underline has been removed. What is its color? The color of the text is primary, our primary color. So we say its color is primary. We'll go here and its color has changed to primary. The color of that is here. The color of its text changed to primary. If I uncheck this, see, it will change. So we have given the text its primary color. There is also an 8 pixel border radius here. So we say border radius 8 pixels. I'll refresh the page. See, our border radius is 8 pixels. And what is the font size? Its font size is 16. I think the font size here is 16 itself, and there is no need to change it. Yes, as you can see here, the font size is 16. What is the next one? First, Bear in mind that we need to give this a hover. For the next thing, which is here, what we need is when we hover, I want its color to become white. We say in hover mode, the color becomes white. So when we hover, our color becomes white. Let's give it a transition too, so that this appears more gently. It should do it with a transition like this. When we hover over it, it gives us this transition. Now I want to change the background using a special effect to display that special effect when hovered. I'll define a before for our button. I'll say its content is empty, its position is absolute, but the position of the btn is relative, so that this before changes in relation to this. Its distance on the top is 50%, its distance on the left is 50%. It's the same technique we used before. I want to place it at the center. And its transform, translate x, is minus 50%, and its y is minus 50%. This will be placed at the center. Now we also need to give it a width and height. We'll give it a width of 100 pixels, a height of 100 pixels. We'll give it a background too, a primary color for the background. Now let's take a look at the result. It looks like a square. I want to change it to a circle. I'll give it a border radius of 50%, and it will become a circle. Now I want it to be behind the text. Its z-index should be -1. Z-index -1. However, as you can see, the z-index for our button must be 1, like this. Now we give an opacity to the background that we gave it to our before. We say opacity 0.3, like this here. Next, when it is hovered over, I want this to become bigger, larger. See, its width is 100 pixels and its height is also 100 pixels. And I say its scale is 0 here. As you can see, we set its scale to 0. Now it's invisible. I say when it is hovered over, that is our A tag, what should happen to our before? Let its scale become bigger. It should be 2. It will appear like this. However, I want it to do this more gently. So I'll give it a transition. In this way, now it happens more gently. Next, I don't want this circle to be displayed. Consequently, I'll have it hide its overflow, that is, hide all that is extra, overflow, hidden. It doesn't work yet. Why? The reason is that because this is an A tag, its display must be inline block. Since by default its display is inline, this does not accept it. That is, the hidden overflow that we have, for this reason, its display must be inline block. It must not be inline. As you can see, when we hover over it, it looks nice as it happens. So we could create this hover for this. Next, it's this part here, the socials. Their distance from this button is 189 pixels. This is public. We don't define the margin here. We'll go to this part and we say socials, which is this part here. This is our social section. What is the distance? To this part, it is 191 pixels. So we give it a margin top of 191 pixels, like so. As you can see, this gets a 191 pixel distance. Now we turn to these and style them. See, they are aligned horizontally, so the display of the UL tag, which includes these, they are all inside a UL tag. All of these LI tags are inside this UL tag. So We go here and define for the UL that its display is flexed so that these will be aligned next to one another. See, they are now aligned. They are bulleted, so we set list style to none in order to remove these bullets. There are no bullets now. Look at the distance between them. The distance for each one. See? Between them, the distance is 8 pixels for all of them. Therefore, we say that the li tags have a margin right of 8 pixels. Now, they will get an 8 pixel distance from one another. Next, as you can see, Bootstrap has given UL a margin and a padding by default. This is the padding and this is the margin. We would like to remove these, so we say that margin 0 and padding 0, and like that we remove them. As you can see, for the text decoration, it has an underline. We will remove this too. We say that the A tags, which are inside the li tags, their text decoration should be none. This will remove the underlines. Alright, now each of these here has a padding. See, distances of 9 and 11. From the top and bottom 9, and from the left and right 11. So we say padding, its top and bottom are 9 and its left and right are 11 pixels. Like so, they will get a padding. Now, these are aligned. That is, the icon and the text, both of them are aligned. How do we do this? We say for our A tag, because we have an icon and a span, so display is flex. Display, flex. And in order to vertically align them, we say align items, center, like this. You can see that they are aligned with the icons. If I remove this, look so that you can see the difference. For our A tag, I'll remove align items center, then it will look like this. I'll give it its align items and it will stay like this. Next, we will turn to their icons. The dimensions of the icon are 14 pixels. So we say that the font size of the icon is 14, like this, for the dimensions that the icon has here. Its distance to this text here is 8 pixels. We'll set its margin right to 8 pixels. Margin right, 8 pixels. It will get an 8 pixel distance from the text. We're done with the icon. Now this text here. See? The font size of the text is 16 pixels. We won't change it. Its font weight is 400. If I inspect the elements here, its font size is 16. And what is its font weight? It gets it from the body. If I'll click on this, its font weight is also 400 pixels. So font size is 16 and font weight is 400. So it's right. It's just that it has a hover. See, one of these has a hover. What is the hover for Facebook? Its background is 1A, 1A. Which one is this? It's our secondary. We say that when it is hovered over, that is our A tag. So here we define it. When it is hovered over, give it a background which is secondary. And after that, let's see it. Look, it gives this secondary color background here. However, we want it to happen more gently. So we'll give it a transition. Transition on all 0.3 seconds. Now it happens more gently. It also has a border radius. You can see that it has a border radius. It's 6 pixels. So we'll give it a border radius, that is to this background. See, border radius 6 pixels. It gets the border radius too. And see how their colors normally look? It's gray. This means that the color of the icon normally is B6, B7, BA, which is the gray color. Therefore, the color of the icon in normal mode is gray. I'll refresh the page. First, the color of the icon is gray. We can also increase the font size of the icon a little. For example, set it to 16 pixels or even say 18, like so. This is the icon and we changed its color to gray. And look at the color of its text. It's secondary gray. So we say that the span which comes after it, its color is secondary gray, as you can see here. However, when it is hovered over, all of these, while being hovered over, all of them become white. As a result, we say that when they are hovered over, the color of our span and I tag both becomes white. And we'll also give the span and the I tag a transition so that it happens more gently. I'll just copy this and paste it here for both of them. Yes, as you can see, their color changes to white. When we hover over them, it just looks nice. Now, the next one is this photo. We want it to be centered. That is, to be placed vertically at the center of this space that is here. How do we do that? We go here. Everything that we have styled so far from here to here has been for the info. I'll close the info and turn to image. Let's say image. We can give it a class here, image. It is like this part where we had info. Now we do it for image. Let's turn to image now. We say that this image has a height of 100 VH to take 100% of viewport height. See, if I move this to the side, see, it uses 100% of viewport height. But if I remove it, it won't use all of it. This part down here will be left empty. But when it is 100%, it will look like this. We'll set its display to flex, and we want this photo to be at its center vertically, so we say align items center. It will appear like this at the center of this space. As you can see, it is now exactly at the center. This photo also has a border radius. See, its border radius is here, 8 pixels. We give the photo the border radius. I mean, inside image, we give this photo a border radius. Now we go here, see, it got the border radius. We can also give it a hover, something aesthetic. I'll give it a transition, all 0.3 seconds. Now, what should its hover look like? First, I'll give it a filter. Filter, saturate, 200%. And then a sepia of 1. Let's see what it looks like. See, when I hover over it, it looks really cool. This is a pretty filter that CSS gives to our photo. There is something else about this photo. Look at this photo, pay attention to the distance. It does not use the space of the image entirely. It is not using the width the way it should. If you look at this part, you will see that some of the space here looks empty. We want the distance between this part and this part to be equal. I'll give the sidebar a background just to see what we have here. For example, red. We want the distance between this part and the distance between these two here to be equal. How do we do that? We must move this to the right. It means because the width of this is not the same as that, then this should be moved to the right side. So that we can have the equal distance we want. It's just enough to give it here, to give it a margin left auto. However, this is the image. We shouldn't give it to the image. We must give it to the photo, this picture, a margin left auto. We can do it in this way, or we can say for the picture, justify content flex end, like this. It will move to the far end, and the distance between this and this part and this part will be the same. So we go here and say justify content flex end. In this way, the photo will be placed at the right side. And the area of our sidebar is also here. Since we don't have this background, it is not clear where its area is. Its area is up to here. On this side, this distance, and on the other side, this distance must be equal. In our previous video, we said that the reason why this distance has increased is because in relation to this part here, this part has a smaller distance from this part here. The dimensions of this page, see, the size of our Figma is 1440, but ours is 19, I think 20. Yes. So this empty space here is there because we have more space here. And if I make it, the page, more compact, see, these will grow closer. As you can see, they'll grow nearer to one another. We'll also make it responsive later in the future videos. I just wanted to let you know why this empty space is here. And it's because we have more space here compared with the Figma design. And finally, the last thing we want to add are these lines here that are in the background. I have already exported them from the Figma file. This is BG shape. In a similar fashion, we want to add it to this part. As you can see, it is repeated. However, it is used in different fashions. I mean, sometimes it is on the bottom side, sometimes on this side. At times, some of it is visible, or at other times, somewhere else. Even less of it is visible. Each time it appears differently. This shape we have here is only one shape, but each time a different part of it is displayed. It means its position is different at each place. All right, we'll define its position here. We saw that we have a background image, and what is its URL? Where are we now? Inside home, in the SCSS folder, we'll need to go back one folder. Look, one folder, we are here. We'll go back inside the assets folder. We'll go inside images. So we go one folder back and then go inside the images folder and select BG shape. In this way, you'll see that it will repeat a few times. So we say background repeat, no repeat. It just once. Now, we want it to be placed on this side of the page according to the design. Look, it is on this side. We say background position. For background position, for its X, this is distance from the left. This X means the distance from this part. If these are 0 and 0, then this will be placed on the left side of home. See, on the left side, it is right next to this part. If I change it to 100%, and also from the top, look, as is shown here on the top side, it extends beyond, so we'll give it a negative value. We say minus 24 pixels. Then it will be placed here. See, it moved towards the top. However, it needs to move a little more to this side to move out of the frame. So, for example, we'll set this one to 150%. Please note that it will move there. However, if I resize the page, see, this is moving and moves to this side. Consequently, using percentages here is not ideal because it causes it to move. What can we do? What we need to do is using VW here. Kindly note that in CSS we have a unit named VW. 1% of viewport width is called 1 VW, or 1 VW is equal to 1% of viewport width. Here, as you can see, it has given it 10 VW, which means 10% of the width that it has. You can study this to learn more. Here, we will use VW. We say that the value of VW is, for example, 50 VW. We can decrease it a little. 40 VW is better. As you can see, it now almost looks like this. Now, if I decrease the size of the page, see what will happen? It almost remains fixed. It stays in place and does not move. So here we can use VW and place the shape at the corner there. Okay, that's it for its style. We have given this part a style. In the next video, we'll add an animation to this here and a meteor shower. I mean, we'll use an animation of a meteor shower and make it responsive. See you later.